Thank you for coming to my talk. And in the same tone of the comments that have been made this morning, it's truly amazing to see this first conference. I'm part of Electronic Arts, and as you saw from the history, we've been here for a while. And Romania, it's a very important location for us, and it's really fantastic to see the community grow and be a part of it. So it's my honor to be here. I work in quality assurance, and I'm here to talk to you a bit about the journey that we have had and how we help deliver great gaming experiences to our players. So a little bit about me, about 20 years or so of experience in the industry with EA and other high-tech firms, working across multiple games, from small experiences to now largely interconnected spaces where we deliver digital entertainment. I am quite passionate about quality and finding creative, innovative ways to deliver in a way that is meaningful for the players. Because ultimately, that's what matters. Yeah, making that unique connection with each one and every single one in their own space that are enjoying our entertainment. And at a more personal level, I'm really focused on the things that really matter. Yeah. Besides being a professional, I'm a father and a member of a community, and I want to help build things that I'm proud of, that my children can be proud of. And if you allow me, I will count this one as one of those. It's really cool to be here. So if you look at the video game quality ecosystem, it has really exploded and expanded, and it's doing it at a very rapid pace, which is really fantastic. There's way more players than ever before. Internal estimates from EA has us that about 10 years ago, we probably had around 200 million people playing video games, and now we're circa 2.6 billion. And that number continues to grow. Spread around the world more than ever before as well, which brings a huge diversity into the gaming space that is fantastic, but also challenges and difficulties on how to deliver something that's compelling. Time becomes a huge factor, especially with the advent of mobile game and mobile devices. Yeah, taking a number from there, people are spending in average over 2 hours on their phones. However, only 22 minutes of those are in non-native apps. So when we are competing to think it that way for that time, it's a really crucial thing to really strategize and find a good way to do it. And we have more platforms and many more devices where we can start to deliver that entertainment and doing it in a seamless way, in a way that it's truly nicely interconnected, becomes so much more critically important. Because that critical and digital world in the world where the experiences are happening, it's really more about the companies and the businesses that are capable to either shift their model significantly or that have been grown in that new space to solve problems for their players, for their consumers in a truly innovative way. So it is not simply putting out more websites or components in your environment. It's truly thinking things through in a different way with that player at the middle of it. So if we can take kind of a note from the EA book, let me walk you through very briefly from where we're coming from a quality perspective. Yeah, we were addressing games as a standalone entities, where most of the testing was done in manual basis, and it was very specific to that one instance of the game. There was very little context with regards to the overall environment. There were minimal live support. It was a fire and forget environment where games were mostly in the disk and it was being shipped that way. It was done on a reactive basis as well, and it was much more of a model of the testing back to quality rather than building towards quality. And we have significantly shifted that over the last few years to what we choose to call now quality verification. And it's much more based on really on a proactive manner, how do we deliver a model that builds to quality and that builds quality right at the core of the game making process. So I'll walk through, the objective of this talk is that talk you through some of the elements that we have addressed on that. So when we think about that, yeah, we think about 5 key areas that make up our strategy and that are important for us to consider and to have strong plans around it. Yeah, because of the complexity and the size of the environments and the digital experience that we're delivering, yeah, then it's critical for us at EA to really consider these deeply. It's also true that then when you have a smaller experience or a smaller organization, like some of the ones that you guys represent or you may be involved in, maybe not all of this applies, but it's important to understand it as a whole because you guys ultimately, any creative product that we put out is going to play in the space that all the rest of the world is in. Because more and more our players are and exist in those digital communities that are connected all the time, are part of groups that are sharing continuously, and it's in that space where we're going to win and how we need to cater the opportunities to them. So the first pillar that we think about and that we strongly have shifted over the years towards is how to really focus on the player much more sharply than ever before, in a more unique and personalized way than what we've done before. And it started for us in identifying that overall engaging experience, it's a collective thing. It sits in that ecosystem that starts often with an experience with a website or a companion app that takes you to a game, and you need to consider that journey as a whole. Yeah, the past of taking each one of the components as separate entities is no longer good enough. Yeah, the strategy needed today really needs to look at that as from the player perspective and how it caters to their reality. That's where spaces like the different locales and the different cultural differences play a very important role. And in order to feed that, then we use lots of new telemetry that comes from the field and from the live operation that enables us to better understand that network and how players behave in it. So things like early betas, things like player focus groups that are more kind of traditional and elements of the past are equally relevant, if not more now, but are being complemented by loads and loads of different indicators that we are crunching and we are distilling into data elements that enable us to better understand how players are using our entertainment content, how are they consuming it, so then from a quality point of view, we can ensure that those areas that are particularly important are going to be very well covered. And last but not least, getting back to the players quickly and with content that is relevant to them and that addresses their need is more critical than ever. So there's been lots of effort and continues to be on how we can ensure that through the use of that data, through having the right approach and that renewed approach to quality, we can enable the business and development to iterate much faster. The second pillar, it's choosing quality first, which simply or said differently is that quality needs to be thought through all the way through the development and game-making process. What we found that caused a profound change in EA from a quality point of view is that really is integrating quality as a core element of the game-making process that goes well beyond having the quality professionals doing early testing or sitting close to development. Yeah, it's really building mechanisms, practices, and tools that make it an integral component that doesn't allow, to put it that way, for work to be completed without that quality verification occurring. Defect prevention and containment are kind of the key words on this space. Here's where we do things like implementing tools that enable automated tests alongside the continuous integration systems that development uses to create their local builds and the main builds in order to maintain stability across the systems. This is where we have people that specialize in reviewing and working on design space, providing feedback that enables to really build to quality. Yeah, it's about, it has created a new breed of skill sets that are necessary to the quality, and that it's great to see grow across the organization, and really has elevated as well the voice of quality and the perspective of quality across the entire organization. The third pillar is technology, and technology could not be more important today. Because as you see populating on the screen, there's many different services and very exciting areas for our players to engage in. This is the world where they exist. It's an interconnected world that changes on a very continuous basis. And we need to play on that space. And speed is key. And in order to do that, then technology, it's the secret weapon, to put it that way, that help us solve those problems. Yeah, technology in the way of tools, automation, and data gathering and analysis systems that allows us to really strategize, plan, and execute in a much better way. Technology applied to quality helps development iterate faster, to a point that I made previously. It's in the helps development when problems are identified or potential issues are identified in the code, get the information they need in as quickly as possible so it can be resolved right there before the problem exists in the software for a long period of time. In way of example, it also helps the quality verification extensively. In some of our games at EA, we have a large number of assets that needs to be validated. And it's not just that the asset is correct or that all the legal checks are in place, but it's the context as well. And it's how it's being triggered in the context of the game and the experience. So now we've created an extensive array of tools that trigger all those in an automated manner, flags areas or instances that could be of problems based on certain business rules, and then flag them to analysts that will go and look through those and allow for him or her to just really spend their time where it's best used. And it's based on that knowledge, that it really maximizes the output and cuts down on the time quite extensively. Tools, it's really something that we see spending more and more time, because as you think about how the environment continues to grow, it's in that tool in combination with data really becomes more and more relevant. Which ties to the next pillar, that it's being data-driven. And it's about making decisions that were just not possible before. And it's also realizing that the reality that we live in, it's quite different and then requires a different approach. So you guys have probably heard examples, because there's many of them, that despite the best efforts and great lots of work done by the QA organizations in different companies, when games get to market, the universe of experiences that they generate, the universe of passes that the players do, it's orders of magnitude larger than what a QA organization can do. So we realized that years ago that really that manual approach was not going to cut it anymore. And it's really now through data identifying how to define the areas of focus for those quality professionals with the right tools to focus the time that they have. But that needs to be balanced off with the ability to react fairly quickly to what happens on the market, as we learned through the data that comes through. Defining KPIs that drive the behavior we're looking for has been the tool that we've used much more, quite extensively on this across EA, and that has been a fantastic way to change culture. In way of example, then we've used things like setting bug quotas or bug ceilings that has helped us drive quite significant improvements on stability all the way through the development process. Because when you have alignment in the organization that we are going to not hit a certain amount of bug debt, then it drives actions to resolve those early on that have a direct impact on stability. We've also been measuring the number of crash issues and how they happen over time and how long they are open for. And all those driving it down has helped significantly improve on bug debt overall. It is not a from night to day solution. It takes lots of effort and it takes concerted approach across the organization, but it really works. The beauty of having those, identifying those measures that make sense for the project you guys are working on or the organization that you guys are working on, getting the buy-in from people and communicating them consistently will gradually create that change of culture and change of approach that we're looking for. And last but not least, it's scalability. And I choose to call it here a journey to scalability because it truly is. It's something that will continue to change and probably even faster than what has changed now. Yeah, along with the increasing size and complexity of the gaming experiences that we deliver, it's also the demands that come from the field and from the players out there. There's much more competition also than ever before, and with it comes expectations of great quality, rightfully so. So what we've seen over, through the history of EA and quality verification at EA is that, we're coming from a place where the majority of the testing was done manually to now a place where we can scale quite significantly while managing our cost in a successful manner through the use of the tools along those verticals that I just talked to you guys briefly about. And that really translates in improved speed and improved coverage, especially on the live continuous environment where our players exist. Delivery of high quality experiences every time to those players, and in allowing development to have more tuning time because we can accomplish quality and maintain quality at a better pace. Said it in simpler terms, if through the use of these practices you can have a more controlled development environment, it's a lot easier and it's a lot simpler to drive the content to the quality that you want to get it to. We have managed to achieve much greater stability and smooth launches, and we've reduced complexity in the way we operate. We rely less and less on manual testing and much more on the tools that I described. Because then, with that, the best thing, and to share some numbers with you, is that it really works, and it works in a big, significant way. This is over the last 12 to 18 months, depending on the number that you read here, but it's across EA and across our portfolio, we've seen through direct specific effort on the areas that I explained, about 45% of the bugs were found earlier as we reach an important milestone of having that content complete in the game. We have 36% less crash bugs. We're getting to our milestones and commitments faster than what we planned for. And we've done that back to the tools side, by increasing automation about 400% across the board, and increasing the ratio that automation can deliver from a value perspective in finding and helping address crashes faster. So it really, back to the value of the metrics per se, you will see when you start to track things like this, you see a magnifying effect as the organization progresses through it. It's simple. It's a simple reward mechanism. You see that the actions that you're taking are causing that effect. The number will highlight it further. It becomes something that is easy to communicate and discuss, and then it's that cycle that you want to have. Because then, and kind of in wrapping up for me, really the opportunity that we have ahead of us is huge. We're in a world where platforms and devices change very quickly. Cellular phones are changing very rapidly. PCs, console less so, but they iterate as well. So we believe strongly that in order to deliver quality to our players, we need to be right with them along that journey. At every touch point that they have with the quality, with the entertainment product that we put out, there should be a good offering from us to them to remain engaged. So if they choose to change their device, or they are going to happen to be in a different geography for travel or what have you, there's an opportunity to come back to the experience they're looking for. Quality on that space is an entirely different question to answer. How to approach that, it requires a different skill set, a different set of tools, and a deliberate effort around the pillars that I've described. Yeah, so I know I'm the last thing that is holding you guys back from lunch, so that's a reasonably quick overview of the approach that we've taken on quality. I hope that it makes sense and that gives you guys learnings to take that could be applied to whatever you guys are working on. And with that, happy to take questions or to chat further a bit later. Anything? All right.
Automation. Is it on? Can you hear me? Ah.
There we go.
With automation on that steep upward curve, it seems to be following pretty much Moore's law. Do you see that continuing as we go, say, 5 years from now? Would that be to the point of gradually falling off or continuing that steep climb?
I believe it's going. That's a really good question, and it's in the. I believe that we'll naturally get to, on a normalized basis, that it's going to start plateauing. Because there's growth, yeah, there will be growth driven by new areas that we're not touching, but at some point we're going to start plateauing. Where we see a huge, where that significant growth will be is in our abilities of processing more data in order to better strategize and better drive quality verification activities. I think in automation, if you think it through in a maturity basis, then yeah, we've matured quite a bit more there. Data, it's much more in its infancy. All right. I am hungry, and I think you guys are too. And you deserve a good lunch. Thank you.